5, 4, 3, 2.
Time's up.
Buried alive. Buried alive.
Loki! Loki!
You can't touch this. Can't touch this.
Shut up and take my money.
Kamala, there's something different in your genes. Like a mutation.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Are you ready to talk hard?
Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to Talk Hard. Let's do it. Army of Darkness. I am Pops. I am your host. We are here to dissect, discuss, and analyze. Definitely a great time of the year for a film like this. That's for sure. With me, as always, our co-host to my immediate, right here, the caster of the Iron Lagoon himself. How are you doing, Ironcaster?
Oh, you mean me?
Yes, I do. I do mean you. How are you?
I'm doing great. This has definitely been a delight to go revisit.
He looks like he's on the set of a Blair Witch film, like the way that the background looks there with the way it's lit. Yeah. So, below us is
a bunch of Englishmen found me and threw me in this pit. So
you're just in the pit.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how it goes. And below, the host, Loki's mom, Mornings of Mischief himself, Stone Loki. How are you, my brother?
Hey, yo, she bitch. Let's dance.
Let's dance. I don't even know what the copyright issues would be. So I'm going to figure out how to get myself a graphic designer and figure out a way to do a shirt with the amount of Ash quotes that comes out of this movie is just insane. Like, it really, really is just, oh my gosh, there were just so many great lines in this film.
If you do that, you've got to have the graveyard scene with the naked girls being dragged by the skeletons where they're like, "We've got plans for you, girly girl." But in the preview, because I saw the preview for this in theaters, that's immediately, I was like, yes, naked women being dragged by skeletons, and they're like, "We have plans for you, girly girl." Yes, absolutely.
It is. So for me, and the themes are pretty consistent with an OG like me. It's the hyper low budget horror films are going to be my favorite, right? So Halloween and The Thing and the original Evil Dead for me, because it requires so much innovation and visionary work. And just when I watch a film like that, I immediately see, oh man, I see they had to bury some guy to like lay in the leaves for that shot, and they constantly had to blow smoke and fog machines, and they're literally just using the fire hose of blood against the wall, all these creative things. And then when the sequel come out, I was just kind of really disappointed. I know people love Evil Dead 2, and I'm not trying to diss on it because I do like it, but for me, it becomes so comedic with some of its slapstick stuff, and they turn Bruce Campbell completely loose with the silliness. And I just preferred that low budget horror stuff. But I will tell you, when Army of Darkness comes out, and that's what my friends were like, you have to go, though. You have to go. I'm like, so we're going to go see it. And I got to be honest, I really love the beginning of the film. I have to be honest, it does disconnect from me a couple times. But I can't get away from the fact, and it does live up to the name. Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness. It's not Ash. It's a Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness, and I'm like, yes. So Ironcaster, you, my friend, you put this this is top tier for you. You were like so giddy, like a schoolboy. This is my October pick. I'm ready to go and let's dance.
This like I said, this is one of these movies that me and my friends would just watch and rewatch and rewatch. This became like the source of inspiration for when we're like chucking dice. Like I've used Armies of Skeletons a number of times purely because of my love of this movie.
Okay. Trust me, I am not just for me when I'm saying I don't love it as much. Where I am not trying to disrespect someone like Ironcaster or anyone else that has it that high. I think we all can understand different perspectives on that. Loki, you've been all over the place with your love of this film. It's been a fun week because our little internal chat and email thing we've got going on has just been on fire.
I've gotta agree with Ironcaster. The first time I ever played Warhammer, the legendary Warhammer, not 40K, but the old world Warhammer, I was like, can I have an army of skeletons? And I'm immediately thinking Evil Ash leading the army of undead against the castle. If I can do that, that would be so cool. And they're like, yeah, you can totally do that. I'm like, oh yes, I'm in. This is my game now. I will take over the world with an army of undead. Yeah, who doesn't love that idea? Who doesn't absolutely love that idea and hasn't been inspired by that? Like Ironcaster said, I used to sit around with all my buddies. We used to watch this all the time. I think I was like 12, 13 years old when this movie came out. Yep. I remember the original trailer. The original trailer had Metallica blasting in it. It was like everything you wanted. If you loved D&D when you were a kid, if you loved old world legendary stuff like that, and you're like, yes, chainsaw arm with a shotgun in medieval times. Yes. Yes, it had it just it was definitely an experience. I think that clearly the studio manipulation of it all and meddling is definitely and it is great to understand and see so much of that come to light later on because we can really appreciate the film differently. We can evaluate it differently than when it was first happening. Because at that point, it kind of has to stand on its own. We didn't have a lot of this backstory, stuff like that. Because for those of you kids out there, you have to remember that most of our movie news came in the form of paper magazines. We didn't have this interwebs thing that you could just share and get information right away. You had to wait for a star log to come out or something like that, so you could get an interview or catch something. Because got to be honest, Army of Darkness and Sam Raimi's weren't really making tours through the equivalent of Entertainment Tonight's and talking head shows like Johnny Carson. So,
or what's worse is when they get things wrong and then everyone starts to believe something they heard in one of these magazines gets passed along around schoolyard to schoolyard, and then it just becomes these urban legends in the hanging out on the grapevine that no one quite knows anymore where it originated.
That's true. So let's say huddle this wonderful chat. We have some folks that have been in. Olds Gamer 72 Cutlass. Hey, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. Stephen Ransom. He's in there hailing the Talk Art team. So it's great to have us in here. Chris Persia, of course. The Pops Mod, the Mod Goat himself. How you doing, Chris? Hope you're doing well. And let's see. Everybody saying hey to each other. Throwing bones out Persia. There. Chris Persia, huh?
No, I'm calling him Chainsaw Persia for today.
That's true. And he says he is ready to listen hard. All right, we'll take it. Let's see. Loki's mom. Yeah. Got a broomstick. Jacob Ironside's in here. By the way, for those of you who like to keep calendar notes, I will be on Jacob's channel on the 20th to talk Jaws. We are going to do a Jaws conversation. So one of my that's my top tier. That's one of my favorites of all time. And yes, groovy. Yes. I gotta be honest, that was probably the best callback of the film. I mean, I know there's a lot of direct references or whatever. The fact that there's just this moment that's completely set up for him just to say it was perfect. So, and who doesn't want a chainsaw for a hand? Only my sons, because when they were young, they asked for a Terminator hand. Literally, they were like 6 years old. They said, "Mom, if my arm got cut off, could I get a Terminator arm?" It was the best. I was so proud of them. And they don't really know what Terminators were other than like seeing pictures of comic books and things I had. They were a little too young to watch the movies. But yeah, probably now as adults, they might have to go back and forth. So let's see. What is this? Soul Assassins here says, did I miss something? Just got a S-Smart. #ShopSmart. Yes. And Chainsaw Man is a chainsaw head. Yes.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that just dropped today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is an anime. Well,
Okay.
it was a manga that's getting an anime adaptation about a guy with a chainsaw on his head.
The universe is just lined up for us to just be great about things. So, Souls has been asking, was there an Evil Dead D&D? I think there was specifically a D&D, but there was just modifications of other stuff, right? Or no?
So there has been at one point some either again it gets into the licensing matter, but I know there's been at least a Army of Darkness tabletop RPG at one point, and there've also been a number of other kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, homage games to it. One particular one I can think of is called Zombies, with like two or three exclamation points. That is a bit of a Night of the Living Dead sort of thing, and one of the expansions for it is a Cabin in the Woods. That is basically just straight up, here's an Evil Dead board game for expansion for you.
There's been a couple of video games too. There's been some actual Evil Dead video games that have come out. So
like Fistful of Boomstick, I think is one.
Fistful of Boomsticks. I know Ash was supposed to be in Mortal Kombat 11. They were fighting the rights issues with Universal, and that did not happen. He ended up getting replaced at the last minute, but they did have all the coding done for that. So if you actually dug into the data file releases right before that was supposed to come out, all of his stuff was there. It was all ready to go. They just had to add the assets for the skins.
But by first here, Dr. Adega Outlaw popped in. Let's see. Oh boy, here we go. I ran around with my dad's chainsaw and an oversized shirt as a kid. That's the way to rock it right there. That's the way you rock it right there.
So my best friend, his little brothers wanted to stay up and watch. It wasn't Evil Dead. It was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And we were like, no, you can't stay up and watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They ended up like peeking. Every now and then they'd peek around the corner. And I'd catch them peeking around the corner. So at 6:30 that morning, once they were in bed and been asleep for a couple hours, we went in there with chainsaws. Rev those sons of bitches up, and I swear his little brother was trying to claw his way out the window. He completely ripped the blinds down and was like trying to climb up the wall with his hands and his feet to get out. So much crying, so much terror. And yeah, that's why you don't stay up and try and watch adult movies when you're
awesome.
8 and 9 years old.
In the heyday of my heathen life, we had our very first massive Halloween party. And when I say massive, like 200 people showed up at this Halloween party. We had like a maze through a field where it had all grown up, and there was like these dog kennels back there. So we had like the strobe light and a dude with a mask and the whole thing with the chainsaw bit. And I don't care who you are, it kind of makes you pee a little bit. But it's not a lot of light. Strobe lights come on, a real chainsaw comes on. We took the blade off, took the chain off, but the engine revving, and yeah, it gets you quite a bit. So, and all the way from Japan, Wakazashi Chiaos, he is saying that Bruce Campbell is my hero. It's the chin and the attitude. You know what we say to that, Gray? We say groovy. And that's the evil Loki. Yeah, well, gotta live on brand, bro. Gotta live on brand. Yes.
I expect nothing less.
Yes, and Dr. Dega says, yeah, causing childhood nightmares.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. All right, well, let's get to a little bit. We'll ping around a little bit here and there, folks. Bear with us, because Ironcaster and Loki are nodos for a film of this. The film it really does kind of move pretty quick to catch people up, so it doesn't really waste a lot of time. Having here, he's basically well, I should say this too. Sam Raimi really wanted to get to this point. The whole point of his franchise was to get Ash in medieval time to do this, to have knights versus skeletons. That was really the entire point of this, was what he was trying to do. And he kind of made enough money and enough connections through Stephen King. And then, of course, at Universal, made enough money. And they did all of this. So it's a very quick little exposition of Ash saying, listen, I work at this little works in housewares, at S Mart, and there's a quick little blurb.
He looks so dorky there. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of funny that. Do I have sound on? Let me turn sound
You got
off.
sound.
Turn the sound all the way off. And get our time here. We have our blue light for those of you that are old enough to remember the Kmart and the blue light special.
Blue
by the
light
way,
specials.
yes.
Shop smart. Shop S smart.
S Mart. Yep. So we have a little housewares intro with him making his little smug. Look at the chin though. Oh gosh, it's crazy. So there's his little hottie that he likes, Bridget Fonda. And then we have sort of kind of let's revisit, the Evil Dead franchise and talk about going to the cabin, and she gets zombified and they get sucked into the portal, and yeah.
None of the girls that played his girlfriend ever came back for another movie. They're all different actresses. They got a different actress for every single girlfriend he had in each movie. So Evil Dead original, she's a different actress than who's in 2, and obviously Bridget Fonda is not in 2. So you've got 3 different actresses that play the same girl in each movie.
And I think the actress in the first one just did not have a good experience. She was like, nope, done, not enjoying that. So this is the scene where in Evil Dead 2, the hand is what's possessed. So he has the chainsaw. He has to cut his own hand off. So that's what plays up with a whole lot less blood, by the way, than Evil Dead 2. But the maniacal face, boy, that's the gold. And of course, the vortex opens and he gets sucked right out, where the Sumerian Book of the Dead is going to suck him into medieval times. So that's pretty much how the movie.
We're not talking about the restaurant either.
What's that?
So we're not talking about the theme restaurant either.
No.
Medieval
We are going
times.
to 1300 AD, an era of horseback and knights. We changed. They basically just kind of. That's funny too, because some people could be critical of this. I actually, because it is Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, and they have control the whole time, I don't ever give them any grief of how they retcon, change things. Is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? I don't care. It's all of just like this universe that they've kind of put together. And that's pretty much what happens. And then it kind of moves into its first scene where, it goes back to that little opening clip where he's basically in chains and being led to the hole with this other British leader named Henry. And they do a little quick shot where they throw one guy in the hole. By the way, a very elaborate hole. I mean, just going to say, for as far as medieval times. Yeah, this is just the villagers trying to throw stones or whatever. Just the idea of having a hole this elaborate and deep. I don't know how many slaves it would take to dig a hole that big, but as someone who's dug his fair share of holes on a farm, let me tell you what, that's a tough hole to get to. Anyway, ultimately Ash does end down the hole, and which I went too far. It's a little hard to manipulate the streaming version of this, but there's a quick shot where they throw one guy in, and basically is a volcano erupting of blood that comes out of the thing, which I find is hysterical because it's completely not explained. It's just like, okay.
One of the things I like with the scene of Bruce getting knocked into the pit here is that once he gets hit in the head, even the camera starts getting distorted to where the camera itself is in all of these films. The camera becomes a character in the movie itself. I mean, it's the unknown terror that's chasing after him throughout the films. So when he gets hit in the head, when he gets distorted, the camera as a result is also distorted.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but that is one of the things I too like about the trilogy is the style of filmmaking, the way they approach everything. He is very consistent. You can tell it definitely didn't change hands, and whatever his rules were with however he constructed his universe, he was very obedient to that, even though they change and they have some nuances with the way they transition from film to film. So I don't know about you guys, but I spoke about the first 2 films that you guys didn't really speak to it and stuff like that. To me, this all felt very fluid and natural to get to this opening. And it's just so over the top. I love it.
Gotta have our whole crowd cheering here.
Except they're all clean. That's my only complaint. Go ahead.
Well, I was just kind of thinking, you mentioned I didn't get really say too much about the other ones, and I mean, for the longest time, I used to say I liked the Evil Dead 2 the best, but kind of in hindsight, it's kind of got a bit of a lull in the middle where when Ash isn't the main character, it's not as entertaining. This is just kind of as default become my favorite because it is consistently Ash, and it's consistently that sort of high energy, laughs and blood.
I mean, I don't know how you feel, Loki, but I felt like Evil Dead 2 seemed like there was like a tug of war between the comedy and the horror aspects, and it's the one that pulled more comedy, and it just didn't. It just like it seemed like I lost the horror, become more like just blood splatter and corniness and things like that. And once we get to this one, it almost was more like a third element of action become very important. And that really wasn't so much the focus in the first two films, whereas this one, obviously, the action matters a lot.
No, I agree with that. The first one is much more horror, and the second one, you've got more inserted comedy where it's not taking itself as seriously. It's still scary as shit, but especially when you're a kid. That humor is there, and you'll pick up things like when he goes to get the chainsaw, and there's just the outline of it there. Whereas in the first movie, in the original, he goes and gets the chainsaw's there. He pulls it down, he uses it. In the second movie, the chainsaw's not there, and someone else has gotten the chainsaw before he got to it. And it's all little things of humor and trying to relieve the tension and have more funny in there. And like you said, in this, you got Mr. Boomstick, and I'm gonna, hey, some people first you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And we have to play a little bit of sound just to get the full effect of, they throw him the chainsaw because he lost it earlier. So there's his little stump. This is how they give him the chainsaw. It's the best. It's just, it's gold. It's just gold. I'm sorry. I don't really care about I don't know how anyone, even if you don't like the movie, could hate this scene because it's just so perfectly executed with its elements of the silliness, yet also just fun and action and whatever. I don't know. That scene just works perfectly.
I think one of the Deadites just starts doing backflips towards him at one point.
Oh yeah, she's gonna do somersaults in a minute, man. She's like a freaking gymnast. I don't know who their stunt people were. There's a little bit of universal money that's getting spent on Army of Darkness compared to the other two films. The hand, yeah. So the hand gets cut off first and flies up and hits this guy and covers the face. It's just a little silliness that kind of throws back, little callback to the earlier movie. So, and then of course this is how he gets out. They had this little. The walls are coming in with the spikes on both sides, so the walls are coming in, and he has to figure out a way to get out. I have to admit, this scene actually got me more today when I rewatched it than any of the other scenes. Like this one, I enjoyed watching this again. The makeup on that one was a little rough, but that's okay.
It kind of works
because it's wet. Well, they have to get it wet, so that's why it has to be like that. I get Wise. I don't, it's okay. I mean, you only have so much money to spend, guys. It's got to be a full rubber mask. We can't have holes. We can't have latex. It'll just come off because he's going to get wet. Got to remember, it's filmed in like 92. So there he goes. He emerges at the top like a boss, freaking everybody out. These people have never seen a chainsaw before, let alone seen a dude who knows how to wield it climb out of a pit with a zombie inside. It's freaking awesome. This is supposed to be King Arthur. I got to say, if I had any complaint about the film, I thought the Arthur character was just like too young and immature. But I mean, that's a nitpicky thing. That's not really meant to be as big of a deal as it sounds like, I guess.
Your shoes untied.
Yes. I know. I'm thinking to myself, did they have shoelaces in medieval time? They do in this. They do in this so that Bruce Campbell can clock you. Wait, let's see if I can get some sound. Give Ash his due.
Who wants some? Who wants a little?
His lips really stick out. They're like really prominent and pink.
Well, they cleaned them. So the makeup department, the studio, that's a studio move. I will 100% bet you if we had a makeup person, they did it, and then the executives saw dailies or whatever and said, I need his lips to be seen, to see his eyes. So, this is what you're allowed to do. It's what you're not allowed to do. So yeah, they have to keep his teeth and his lips clean. No boogies, things like that. Yeah. But the fact that the villagers are so clean is actually kind of funny to me. The villagers are like, this dude is bald. He doesn't even have a helmet on. He is spotless. My head looks so much more rough today. I have scratches all over me and scars and whatever. And these people live, almost like animals compared to how my life is. So let's see. Shenanigans are afoot. He basically becomes like, the overzealous, powerful dude who pulls out his boomstick. Let's show the boomstick.
Baby was made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Retails for about $109.95. Got a walnut stock, cobalt blue steel,
and a hair trigger.
That's the best. It just goes right into S-Smart mode. So
Shop smart. Shop S-Smart.
S-Smart.
You got that?
All right, let's see. Then we get to he's got his little harem foreman. See, the lines are so good. I know I'm risking my little copyright flag. So if any of you are in chat, and you watch this after the fact, or you see little edits or whatever, gotta do what I gotta do, man. Gotta keep it going, keep it moving. Slurps.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's like a minute ago. You're gonna slap me. Now you want some. You can get on out of here. I loved it. Speaking of chat, we should probably check in. Chat's going crazy, of course. Let's see where I'm at here on chat.
You got a lot of quotes.
Well, there's probably a lot of quotes. Yeah, you guys are great. And you have access to Google while I'm trying to run stuff through. So let's see here. Pops, are you reviewing any of Army? Are you reviewing Army of Darkness? This is the theatrical cut based on the ending. However, I will admit it is extremely easy to find the other cut, the 7-drop cut. Does it have an official name? You guys are the aficionados, not me. That's the director's cut, right? The director's cut is the original. I know it's called original, but it's like 7 drops, right? Instead of 6. That's kind of, so that's why there is 2 different ones, right? The studio said no, and yeah.
I'm not too sure about that. All I know is basically what it said on my various DVD box sets or editions of the movie, because I've got like 3 or 4 of them now at this point.
Yeah. There are 4 versions of the film. There's the original theatrical version. Yeah. There is the UK version. There is the edited for television American version. And then there is an ultimate version that combines cut scenes that were not in the director's cut scenes that were not in the theatrical cut from the television cut, and the alternate ending to make like an ultimate unedited cut.
Okay.
So the ultimate cut has parts of the theatrical, parts of the director's cut, parts of the TV version,
and the British
all
version
combined, and the British version all combined into one ultimate cut of the movie that does end with him going into the future. But after the credits, you see the S-Mart scene. So it's actually got both endings in the movie.
So for those of you who don't know, and in case you miss it, so the theatrical. So what happened is when Raimi presented the film, it was too long, and they didn't like the pessimistic ending. So in the original ending, he takes 7 drops instead of 6. So he oversleeps and he ends up into the apocalyptic dark future. That's the original ending. They were like, no, we're not doing that. So they had to do a little reshoot at S-Mart. And it's 6 drops. He wakes up in S-Mart. There's an S-Mart scene. Of course, it's freaking fantastic. I have to be honest. I'm usually not so pro studio decision versus director, but I really did enjoy the theatrical version. The director's cut version, it's okay. It's fine. It's just I really enjoyed the theatrical final version. But I will say they had to cut out. I mean, do you guys remember how much? I think it's like 20 minutes. It was a lot of footage that got to be removed out of this version. The original version was really long.
Yeah, and you get that extra footage. You get more footage with him and the girl after this scene. You get more footage in the woods. You get more footage at the windmill. The battle at the end of the movie is twice as long as the original cut, and you got the new ending. The interesting thing about the ultimate cut is, according to Raimi, the way it works is the cut you've got with him going into the future is him telling his coworkers about that.
That's correct.
So that's the story he gave his coworkers. So not everything is remembered correctly. Not everything is him being honest. He's lying about some things.
Right.
So the way they explain it, having that ending at the end, the S-Mart ending, is he's been telling this story to his coworkers, and some of it's embellished, some of it's dishonest, and some of it's just Ash being Ash.
Gotcha. Zax is here. I think he's still overseas. So hail to Zax. Awesome to see you, brother.
Good to see you, Zax.
Soul Assassin. Let's see. Going to give it up for Raimi's Delta 88 car. Decepticon's Cave. How are you, my friend? That's an awesome movie. Sure is. Phil TMT. Yes, TMT. He's here. Hey, Phil. All right. Let's see. Lots of haze. Make sure I keep up here. Flaccid Phoenix has a little stump. That's a great line, by the way. Apollo Muse Minion. Hey there, lady. Thanks for hopping in and hanging out with us. We're paying tribute to this great film. So, all right. So, yeah, let's go back. So he's got his little lady. He casts her off a little bit. And then, wait a minute. What's happening here? Oh, that's right. We get visited. I'm trying to figure out. I have to kind of keep track of my story in my head to make sure I don't mess up. That's usually why I watch it the same day. So I can kind of make sure I don't misspeak.
There's the
major
Pizza Hut lady.
Pizza lady's coming. So I think we can play.
I don't want your book. I don't want your bullshit. Just send me back to my own time. Pronto, today.
So water comes rushing in. And then we have Pizza Hut lady. So for those of you who do not know the story, Loki, it's probably better that you share the Pizza Hut story. Otherwise, people are going to think we're crazy by continuing to call this person Pizza Hut lady.
The Pizza Hut lady. Okay, so me and a buddy, we are in Boyd, Texas. Just so you know where that specific Pizza Hut is, it's in Boyd, Texas. And we walk into the Pizza Hut. We're going to order a pizza. I can't remember what the hell we were doing. Still when I was working at a prison. And he goes to take a drink when we see that lady working behind the counter at Pizza Hut. And I look at him, and I don't even remember if we had ever talked about this movie before. I don't even know if he'd ever seen it. But I said, "You will die!" And he spewed fucking Pepsi everywhere because he knew exactly what I was talking about when I said that. Because the lady behind the counter looked exactly like this bitch right here that Pops has got the show paused on. And that's exactly what she says is, "You will die."
I hit the wrong button, though. There you go. Sorry, guys. So yeah, we need to make it. There should be a Pizza Hut shirt logo, something being made. And hey, Dr. Jester who popped in with my system. It may be buffering for other reasons. So let's see when it catches up again. No, Loki told us the Pizza Hut story, and we had a laugh. That'll be honest, because we've all had the moments where you run into someone who reminds you of a certain movie or an actress or something, and you drop a quote, and you or your buddies are all cracking up, having some laughs and those kinds of things. So I just found it funny that it was the hag witch from all of this. Made me laugh. Right, well, let me stop sharing while it sorts itself out. That way everybody doesn't have to stare at my blank screen spinning like a thing where you guys can vent more about the movie while I sort that out.
Well, I was going to point out, I mean, we've been in the habit of just giving characters nicknames all the time. That's how we got through Halo.
What's the only way we could get through Halo? There we go. All right, come on now, pause. You guys can probably hear it, can't you? Yeah, there you go. No, I couldn't even have got through Halo if we weren't able to give them nicknames. Like I literally was. There was so little interesting about most of the characters. The only thing that made it palatable for me was the fact that we turned it into basically a Mystery Science Theater. So this witch they're zombies technically, right? So this zombie lady will always be known now as the Pizza Hut lady. So there you go.
The Pizza Hut
and all you
Deadite.
in chat now know. Yes, she's a Deadite. Yeah, I know. I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of them being called Deadites, but she's giving them the whole, you'll die. We just want to be alive. We want what you have, that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter too much. And then he basically is negotiating like the whole mission, to go get the book. And they're like, no, I just want to go back in the future. I want to, basically want to, back to the future. Let's see. Pretty props with apples, and he has his metal hand. That's right. They're rigging up his stump. That's what we have to get a little bit of context here. They're using their metallurgy and things like that to create this device. Basically, gives him a super metal hand.
Things and stuff.
I'm not sure how they were able to construct it so rapidly, but they were able to. They just had it laying around, Loki. I mean, I know you've got metal hands just laying around in your place.
Oh yeah, metal gloves just everywhere.
They're just laying around. I mean, it's Loki. It's like that's what they have. So it's really not as awkward for those of you trying to follow at home. It's Loki. It's just you have to understand context.
Groovy.
Yeah. So that is the best, and I missed it because I wasn't paying close enough attention to the timing on that. I should have just let it play so we can get that. Because again, this is the part of the movie that always gets it back for me. Groovy.
Damn straight.
But it's also so he delivers it so perfectly because it's not like it's almost like not look at me. It's like I actually think this is freaking cool. Like that to me was the difference between this and other movies that try to do stuff like this. And they'll have a line like that. This one's the way he plays it is more like, all right, let's get to it. Whereas other movies will do that kind of cheekiness. It'll be like, look at me. And it doesn't always play well, in my opinion. He's got a little bit of back and forth here with Sheila because he's got a bed, Sheila. So that's pretty good. We got to have this Gone with the Wind type moment. Let's play that.
Franklin, my dear, I don't give a hand.
He does her
Give
hair.
me some sugar, baby.
Well, that's what he says.
And you gotta give me some sugar, baby.
Give me some sugar, baby.
You gotta give Bruce credit because he's going out there like he's fucking Fabio, like I'm the look at me, I'm the guy on the in the love novels and all of that. That's what he's standing there doing. Is he's being the love icon on the love novel.
Yeah. To the medieval girl that doesn't know any better. She takes her hair down and the whole thing. And, yeah, it really is great. And there's a great callback to that line, by the way. So we have that later on. So once we get to this point, we start to go on the mission. And I'm not trying to disrespect the film because I do enjoy the film. But that first turned out to be about 26 minutes is my favorite part of the movie. It's almost like perfectly executed, not a minute's barely wasted. I just thought it was fantastic. It's really, really good. Some of this gets a little sluggish for me, but I really love the moments as they're all kind of played around. This is where the movie starts to get into its more comedic roles, where he finds this. He's getting into the forest. The forest, of course, is haunted. So all the weird tree stuff's going on or whatever. And he basically kind of, I want to say retreats, but he goes to hide in sort of this windmill. And he ends up running into a mirror. And in the process falls on the floor. And that's when we end up with our next set of silliness and hijinks ensue. Let's see how chat's holding up. 8 people. Well, who knows? Those numbers aren't real. All right. I don't think I missed anything too much with you guys. You guys are usually just saying back and forth. All right, so the silliness gets here with the mirrors. Oh, man, I forgot about this too. When I rewatched this last week, I forget when it was, I actually kind of kept pausing it because I kind of face palmed several times. Like I just kind of forgot about the silliness. But I will say this, they really nailed the special effects on some of this. This looks really good. The little guys, they kind of nail that.
There's more perspective in a movie from 1992 than there is in a current day show called The Rings of Power. There is better perspective camera work in this scene from 92 than they have 30 years freaking later in a $1 billion program.
And again, they're like 4 or 5 little tiny versions of him, and one of them jumps his mouth. All of this special effects wise is way better than other stuff. And I haven't done Ring of Power. That's up for you guys. I'm not doing that movie. I'm not doing that show anytime soon. I have way too many other. I'm taking the Disney hit for everybody, so I'm not doing that one too. I'll come around to it when it's over at some point. I'll suffer, but not right now. I still got to get through Sharks in the Corn. It's still hanging over my head. I haven't got to that yet. Anyway, you have all sorts of shenanigans that take place inside here, where it pops up as like the eye on his back or whatever. He drinks like the scalding water to burn it inside of him, and it is really silly. I will admit, though, it does make me laugh, and I will admit that it only turned out to only be like 3 or 4 minutes of screen time. But that was, I don't know, guys. Isn't it scary to think? And I got to be honest, give Sam Raimi credit, right? Because we're up until this point, most of the special effects are like, blood cannons and cheesy prosthetics and a lot of camera work that covers a lot of that stuff to still make it eerie and creepy. This was actually just really good effects.
There's so much here.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically when he's outside, then he starts to end up with like there's an actual. So when the thing it becomes like 2 heads, and then he becomes like good ass.
It starts out with like a growth. It's like a growth on his shoulder.
Right? Yeah, it's
not even a head. It's just like an eye. It's just like a little growth on his shoulder that goes from being an eye, like right there, and then turns into that other head, and then splits even more and more.
Yeah. It's a really good effect. The zoom in on the eye.
Hate when I move there it goes. You can see it. There it goes. See the eye?
Oh, the way
again, a really good effect on that. Look at that. So obviously they had to have built a little prosthetic thing with a little machine, and that's what they use. And it's like, guys, we can't get them to do anything on these shows. Nothing. They made a little prosthetic eye thing for his shoulder creature, and we can't get these people to do any special effects worth having because they're so lazy and they use CGI. And this looks like some crazy thing that's growing out of him. I will admit, if this was a Rob Bottin effect, it'd be a lot wetter. It would be more real looking because he'd have all sorts of moisture around it. That's one of his tricks. It'd have a lot more goo. It would be wet, but it looks freaking great.
Don't you feel represented now, though?
By the eye?
Yeah.
I have eyes, so yeah. I can see myself in that eye and a shoulder, sure. I hurt my shoulder regularly, so I gotta admit I see myself that way too. All right, so he debates with his evil self. And I will say, again, good writing. It's like, bad as, good as. Well, good as is the one who pulls the gun right to his face. Like, it's freaking great writing. They literally subvert our expectations.
Goody little 2 shoes.
Yep.
Goody little 2 shoes. Goody little 2 shoes.
It just shoots him. He's just such a boss in this movie, man. Gosh, he's so underrated.
This is another line we gotta hear.
I'm waiting.
When we
Let's make sure it was done buffering. I know. There has to be a way to make a shirt or something.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
The edits. Do they change that for some of the edits?
So every single other version of this movie, from the TV version, the UK version, the director's cut, the ultimate version, he has a different line. Why they did that, I do not know. You would think that they would have never done something like that, but it's different. It's not that. The only way you can hear that line is with the theatrical version.
Interesting.
And it might be just that they extended the fight scene and they extended that out to the point where it doesn't end like that, so he can't say that.
It doesn't work for the story. That's true. Could be. I'd have to watch the other versions again, too, because, this is one of those things in college. I've seen all this stuff, and at one point or other owned all of it, but now I don't. This is more of you guys have it on your list. So. Bifer says Rings of Power is a tax write-off. I actually kind of agree with that theory, by the way.
Oh, they wish it was.
Money laundering, take it how you want. Practical effects over CGI every day and tomorrow, Soul Assassin. Very rarely should we have CGI. Very rarely. So let's see where we're at. Jump ahead a little bit. So we have Evil Ash. Evil Ash gets buried. Move forward a little bit. He's got to go on his little adventure. He's still trying to get the books, and he shows up to get the book. Now, I didn't mention it. Sorry, a little plot point for those of you. He was given a 3-word phrase that he has to say to safely get the book. So that's important because he's starting to rack his brain, like, and he has a little silliness here, like, wait a minute, there's 3 books, not 1 book. I don't understand. I'm supposed to take 3. I'm supposed to take 1. What am I supposed to, right? And you have basically a little sequence of just hijinks where the first one is he gets sucked in the book. And even when he's pulled out, his face is all elongated and stretched. And he's back. His face is still not quite right.
It's basically an R-rated Looney Tune cartoon.
Actually, I think one of the writers, I double checked. I kind of made a note. I didn't even pull my notes up, but I remember reading this and I made a note of it. They're very much included Three Stooges stuff from Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. So they're very much into, and there is quite literally some Three Stooges gags written in, things like that. So, yeah. So that's the first one. And then he goes over here to book 2, which doesn't go well either. It just attacks him. And again, the range of acting that they asked Bruce Campbell to do in this movie. Look like Fabio and get the hot chick and say, give me some sugar, baby. And also look terrorized and freaked out that a book is demon possessed and attacking you from all angles. Good luck. Loki, how would that feel? Like, if you didn't know the director, you'd be like, what did my casting agent get me into? Oh my God. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's Bruce Campbell. They worked together before, and I know he knew exactly what he was getting into when Raimi was like, hey, Army of Darkness, remember at the end of the last movie when you landed and there were knights and stuff, and we just kind of ended it there. I'm in. Bruce is like, I'm in.
They wanted to do it all along. Like, this was supposed to be Evil Dead 2. Like, they were supposed to kind of move in this direction a lot faster, and the studios just wouldn't go for it and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, I'm not saying it was coming out blind. Just in the context of all of this stuff. Anyway, so he does finally get the 3rd book, the real book, but he doesn't get the phrase. He just kind of forgot a word and just kind of mumbles it. Which, by the way, he does say correctly if you listen carefully. But anyway, he doesn't say it properly when he actually takes the book.
Which was a callback to the day the Earth stood still.
Correct.
The words.
Yes. And this is where you get into serious Three Stooges hijinks right here. Skeletons are attacking. And they start punching him. He starts blocking them Three Stooges style. There you go.
Doink.
Yep. Before he starts to make his way back to the castle.
I want to fight skeletons one day.
I'm shocked there's not a way we could have some sort of thing to get through. Let's see. Dunks his head, just wants to go back. Love interest is like, I love you, baby. And he's like, I've just pillow talk. No thanks, girl. I had you. I got a war to fight, and I got home. You see my hot chick over at the S-Mart, man.
Look, I returned my library book. I'm going home now.
Yeah. Let's see here. I think if I play, I think we'll be okay. Because right then where the demon creature flies in, yeah, we have this effect. They're just shooting, and one of them moves. Nick goes and picks up Sheila. So we just picture that's evil. Oh, okay. Sometimes there's little things that happen, and you kind of like don't discuss them. And I feel bad for folks that are trying to take our talk hard for in lieu of watching a film like this. And that's because he didn't say the words right. The dead come alive. So that begins with Evil Ash. Evil Ash comes up. He's assembling this army, and of course, then they have the one demonic thing that flies in and snatches the girl. So that's what happens. They just run around like crazy, not being able to shoot or kill it.
And that is one thing that the Ultimate Cut explains just a little bit more. Evil Ash, the zombie Evil Ash, He is like the culmination of the thing in the woods that's searching for Ash. When you get that camera view and it's like, whoa,
right,
and it's zooming through the woods, that is what Evil Ash is. Evil Ash, all the little ashes that come out of the mirror, they get into Ash, and that is that thing in the woods. So this is supposed to be the ultimate version of that monster.
Yeah,
this is what would happen if that monster got into Ash.
And
they never really explain that, but they do a better job of explaining it in the Ultimate Cut.
Okay. DJ Ronnie G popped in, said, "It's a great movie." Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So anyway, this is what they turned Sheila into. So she's dead now, and there's a little spiel. He basically motivates all of them to fight. We have 2 days, so they'll be here, and they basically pull and push the Oldsmobile into town, into the castle, and he pops the trunk because he was a college student. That was the premise of Evil Dead. He has a chemistry book and some other stuff in there, so he's basically teaching them how to do gunpowder and basically make bombs. And they're pulling the engine. And here's a chemistry book, which, by the way, little Fangoria reference there in the trunk for those of you who watch this film. Make sure you keep your eyes out for that.
I used to think it was kind of silly to see that he had all this stuff in the trunk of his car, but then, like, I go look at the trunk of my own car now, and I'm like, okay, maybe they kind of had a point.
Trust me, no. As somebody who was in college, like this is like, well, I guess I was graduating college around this time. But yeah, that was my trunk. Yeah, or it would just be something I would have, even if it wasn't my trunk. It'd be in the back seat, or it'd be, So yeah, no, this was very believable for that. The only thing I can say is a little bit not believable. He almost seems a little old for it now, like whereas in the first movie, I mean, obviously it's like 10 years earlier. He looks very Hollywood in the beginning of this movie. He looks really, like the mature actor look that he has going on here compared to the younger Bruce in the first movie. This is where we get into Ironcaster's love, because it's basically full-on skeleton army. How do you not just want skeleton army? Playing the flute bones and drums and staggering cheesy props. And yeah.
It's this combination of, like, stop motion skeletons and little prop ones that you're only seeing part of, and like actors in suits. Like, it is just this great little amalgamation of all these effects to get the idea of a massive army of skeletons in various states.
Yep. And by the time we get to Pirates of the Caribbean, they CGI'd all of this. Yeah. I know. And so much of it is so great because it feels so real. Like, there's these shots like this where you just get a great sense of just muck. Then like, see, this guy's, he's just a head and a stick probably, but standing next to an actor who's probably working the mechanism to make its head move. Like, it's really just, this is the genius of filmmaking back then. Is they would think all this stuff through. Yeah, all right, you stand next to this one, you push its mouth, you stand over here, you just are ready to do this shot where everybody keeps moving back when we pull the camera through. Using dollies and probably, that's just a dolly shot. That's not a crane.
Get everyone real close. It looks like there's way more of us.
Yeah, like a ton. Anyway, so they have their little makeshift gunpowder explosive packets on a bow and arrow, which, by the way, is brilliant. I mean, I'm not sure about letting the fuse get down that close because it makes you nervous in real life. But yeah, no, that's a good idea though. Whatever it lands in, that's going to explode. It's great. Here's the Evil Ash freaking out that he's getting outdone here. Things are blowing up. Yeah, that shaky stuff makes it seem so real. A real pyrotechnics going off. I don't know. I didn't do any interview featurette stuff on this film, which I should have done. I would have loved to know how many days Bruce spent in the Evil Ash full makeup. If it was more than a week or so, how many days did he have to spend that deep and all that stuff? So the battle scene, you guys loving the battle scene? The battle scene has a lot of great moments. It reminds me of even like the 80s sword and sandal fantasy stuff, and how silly some things can get, but also just how good other things can get. So we just get to fight like skeletal zombies, man. What more do you want from a movie?
What more could you want? I just want to see freaking guys fighting stop motion skeletons. That's why this and Jason the Argonauts are like two of my favorite films.
If I had any complaints,
And
they
they have some really interesting stuff when they're on horses too, because all they've got a camera moving around these plastic or whatever skeletons that are sitting on a horse. So the way they're using the camera work, and the fact that they just, chunk a rock at this skeleton thing and it breaks into pieces while it's sitting on what looks like a horse. It's not even a real horse. It's just like part of a prop that it's sitting on. And the camera's moving by it. And you see the skeleton just shatter because it got hit by something that you thought was thrown off the tower. It's all real. It's all real effects done in-house that they're like, how are we going to make this work? Oh, well, we'll just do this and it'll look good. And that's all they needed was, will it look good? Yeah, it'll look good. We'll throw the damn rock at it and it'll shatter and it'll look like it was riding a horse into battle. And that's exactly what they did. And it sometimes the simpler things are so much better than CGI.
Well, and the thing is too, to be an effects person and working with people, being around people who are trying to figure this out, because I did some indie film stuff for a while, and just a thought process of like most of these people have experimented, right? So they've played around with, we're going to do a skeleton. You're hired to do a skeleton movie, so you've had all these skeletons, you've done different things. The fact that CGI is, they don't really have any like real life experience. Now sometimes they'll get pieces and they say they scanned it in and whatever, and you can tell the difference. But yeah, you see this stuff, and this is why these creators are called visionaries, because they had to literally create a vision of how they could pull off these shots. This is, Evil Ash versus Ash, and then cut to this stunt man, cut to that stunt man, shoot over here, do this over there. Yeah, it's freaking great, man. This is just brilliant stuff. It really, really is. Oh, this is a great skeleton shots. Stop motion, jump down on there. We have to have a cut.
I lost. The Necronomicon is mine.
Yes.
You'll die before you get it.
I possess the Necronomicon. I've crushed your pathetic army. Now I'll have my vengeance.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. And away he goes.
You're going for a ride.
Cuts it, and off he goes. So, yeah, that's kind of gets us close to wrapping up the battle with skeletons and stuff everywhere. They've got the book. They can read their chant. They give him the drops. He has to take 6 drops. Then he'll wake up and he'll be in our time. So that's what ends up happening here. We have this little scene.
I feel like we did kind of overlook the steampunk car they put together.
Oh yeah, where is the steampunk car? Sorry, it is really tricky because so much happens in such a short amount of time. There it is. Okay, 102.28 is the car. So they modify the Oldsmobile, and what they did was they rigged it up so that when the engine was running on the top, he's got these blades flying around.
They got guys on wires getting yanked back. It's a great bit.
And they just changed the camera angles. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I love that. And by the way, it's another reason to why there's an Indian cinema film where they create that with like a chariot. They have like these blades whirling on the front of this chariot, milling people down. It's freaking incredible. Anyway, so it ends, and you have this quick little shot where we end up back at S-Mart. Before we get to S-Mart, or anything else here, let's see here. Evil Ash has Skeletor's voice. Yes, very much so at times. So,
Evil Ash was Skeletor.
Yes. By the way, Bruce was so young. Yes. And actually, if you watch Evil Dead, you'll be even shocked because that was a little over 10 years prior. So when you turn on Evil Dead now and you see Bruce now, you flash back and watch Evil Dead, you're like, oh my gosh, it's freaking me out because he's so young. some t-shirt art for you and the D. We've got a present from Steven Ransom to look forward to. We will check that out in a few moments. We'll see. Yo, she witch. Yes. Oh, freaking great. I love the lines. Love the stuff.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Yes. That's awesome. All right, so we end up here, and he's just literally stickering the side of boxes, which I love it. Just so much silliness. He shows up. Yep.
It's always a redhead.
Mm-hmm. The wind blows in, so we're going to get some sort of Deadite. Here's the Deadite showing up.
Pizza Lady.
Well, Pizza Lady was way worse than that. Pizza Lady has a very unique look about her. Anyways, long story short, he goes into Ash mode, grabs a Remington.
He fires like 37, 38 times.
It's a double barrel. It actually is a Remington. I don't know how he was able to load that many shells in that short amount of time, so we're not supposed to actually know how those guns work. So that part would... I mean, how many does my Remington... I don't know, 10? 12? I don't know how many it'll hold. I'd have to look. I gotta be honest, especially because the ammo's been so expensive the last several years. I don't think I've shot like the whole thing in one sitting like that. Anyway, he just pulls his shirt off, has his real shirt, his real gear on underneath. I love it. And spins it around awkwardly this time compared to how he does in elsewhere in the movie. And then we get like the greatest moments in a genre film.
But in my own way, I am king.
Oh, of course it has to mess up our timing.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king.
Yeah, he is just so in this movie. It's so freaking great. I don't even know what to say. So, all right, guys, you vamp while I figure out what's going on with Steve Ransom, because Lord knows he always surprises us with the most wonderful things.
Well, if you allow me to, I have something I can show off related to this.
Yes, please gather and show and tell.
So a few years ago, I was at a local horror convention, and the guy's name is Tom Sullivan. Was one of the art guys, one of the special effects guys from Evil Dead 1 and 2. So it is related to this, and he was selling a couple of art prints there, which I happen to have up on screen here. So this is some of his illustrations from it.
Wow. So who did the art? I'm sorry, Tom Sullivan?
Yes.
Oh, this is the actual guy. Okay, no. Tom Sullivan is the guy in the Evil Dead franchise. Yes. Okay. What does it say? Swallow your... Wait. Pull it back up. At the bottom.
And then he signed it to me.
Okay. I'll swallow your soul. Got it. Okay. Your pal, Tom Sullivan. Okay. So those who aren't following along, Tom Sullivan is the man making some of this stuff happen. So, yeah, that's freaking amazing. Yeah.
And I happen to get a couple of these from him. And
look at that.
How can I say no to the freaking werewolf one?
Oh, man, I tell you what, that's freaking great.
They are beautiful. And, like, look at the year he drew this in.
82. That's an OG print, man.
Of course,
awesome.
He also signed all of these.
Yeah. Howl, Fangs, a lot. Werewolf.
And then he also draws his little skull.
Yeah, he's got a little, what do they call those? Something marks, some rim marks, something like that. Yeah. But that's freaking awesome.
There is one last one here I could show off.
All right. Ooh.
Page in Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Apparently this is page 3. Every one of these, he wrote something on.
What's that say? Lick the...
blood off my shovel.
Oh, lick the blood off my shovel. Your pal. Your idol. I'm sorry. With his little... lick your blood off my shovel. Oh, man. These guys are great. I mean, they just sort of like have such great self-awareness of what they accomplished and their legacy and all that. These are, I don't know. People are associated with these, again, these low-budget, visionary horror films. They're really something special.
And the other one of the other things you point out was the background on it is that these were actually like the background here will spiral if you get the other page, so you can like flip through them like the actual page. So
you could get a bunch of them and make your own book. I guess.
That's the wormhole.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the wormhole. Nice.
Yeah, very, very nice.
So I've got one thing I'll show you real quick.
Right.
I didn't even plan on pulling this up, but I actually got it in my Google Drive already. So there you go.
All right. Loki show and tell.
That's number one. I've got a Xena one with him in it too, where he actually meets the Bruce Campbell character from Hercules and Xena. So it's like Ash from Army of Darkness meets Xena and his character that was in Hercules and the Xena series.
Gotcha.
Which is
awesome.
weird. A weird crossover. It's,
yeah.
Bruce Campbell as Ash and Bruce Campbell as he was like a trickster.
Right.
He was like a thief. I can't remember his name.
I don't know either. Chat will certainly correct us here in a moment, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody knows the name.
Oh. No,
all right.
Be right back.
You're fine. Let me show off. Look, I don't even know, man. Maybe we should figure out how much of a cut Steven wants. Holy cow. I don't even know. It's like proportioned so well for such an inside joke that we would just love and adore having something like this.
Oh, dude. Yes, you will die. Oh, my God. Yes.
Oh, the Pizza Hut lady. That's so
Pizza
great.
Hut lady.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I don't know, Steven. Let me know. Let's figure that out. I don't know if we can figure out if we can. It's going to be tricky to figure out how to get it sort of just right. But it looks like you've already got it placed on a shirt. So you should put it out there, man. Put it out there. Figure it out.
Heck yeah.
That's freaking great. Oh, man.
That is absolutely awesome, dude.
Yes. Thanks so much, man. That's so freaking great. So we're going to leave that there for a minute because Ironcaster needs to see that. So let's see. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
What?
There it is. Pizza Hut. Steven Ransom's the boss, man. How to you, my friend. That's freaking great.
Bravo.
Let's see. We're going to take this down. Stop sharing that. Come over here. Jacob Ironside. The game Duke Nukem stole a bunch of lines from 80s movies. Okay.
Yes.
I also seem to recall that the CGI show Reboot did an Evil Dead episode.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Which was like one of those early first all CGI shows where it's like takes place inside of a computer and they're doing the computer games, and so they had they had a person showing up to play the hero. You're playing the Bruce Campbell role, and all the characters in the show had to play the monsters.
Okay.
And he was constantly saying groovy.
Groovy. Bruce, by the way, he played Autolycus in Xena.
Yep, the thief. I remember him being a thief, but yeah, that's one of those weird comic book crossovers that you're like, what? Okay, so you got Bruce Campbell playing him in the Xena book, and you've got Bruce Campbell playing him as Ash, and they're in the same book. What a weird meetup.
That's freaking great. That's freaking great. Welcome to our world. Yeah, we got another fan of it. So he says Chris Purge is absolutely right. So he played his role great with the Some Passion in his movie. He was one of my favorites of Hercules and Xena. Very cool. All right, Soul Assassin. Shots fired.
I've got the DVD box set for Hercules. I still need to finally start watching that. I think that's probably gonna be that and Xena are gonna be my shows I watch next year.
Okay, very cool. We watched them, and again, they were syndicated too for a while, so they would just be on and things like that. So I've been through them. I probably have never be able to hold my own to any direct questions about most of that kind of stuff. It's like one of these things where like there's so many. I could probably list 10 of those like that, like Supernaturals like that. Like I've watched this stuff, but it's like, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm an expert or whatever.
If you haven't seen them yet, one of the things you might want to do, Ironcaster, is look up the Hercules TV movies. There were 4 movies made before the series, and you can get them on Amazon. You can get all 4 movies on Amazon. But get those and watch those before you watch the Hercules series, because you're just, do you have to? No, but you're going to have a lot more like little backstory of what's going on with Hercules and his dad and his wife and everything that happens in the series if you watch the mini movies first, the TV movies.
Let's see, Hercules and the Amazon women.
Yes.
Right, you've got my attention.
Yep. And the woman who plays Xena is in that too, is one of the Amazon women.
Lucy Lawless, baby.
Lucy Lawless is in that episode. So
did you guys like Bubba Hotep?
Yes.
I watched it about a decade ago. I liked it. It's Bruce Campbell. You can't really go wrong.
There's the correct answer. Yeah. So feel the same way. Liked it. Drove my friends crazy. Probably watched it too many times in a row when I first got it. First saw it, and then I got it a DVD copy of it. Probably burned it out with my friends or whatever, and then it was kind of like no one would watch it with me, and came to the last time I've watched it. So,
I really
wouldn't be adverse to watching it again though.
Bruce did another movie called like The Man with Two Brains.
Oh, like a remake of it.
Yeah.
Cool. Duke Nukem, Hail to the King movie. I'm here to kick ass, chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum from They Live. Okay. Well, that's also the whole. He has that line in the beginning of this one, right? You're in charge of Jack, and then he says, and Jack's gone or something like that. Yeah, it's a freaking great line. Yeah, it's like that's freaking great. So. Same principle.
Yeah, it's only 2 things: Jack and shit, and Jack left town.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, you're the king of 2 things: Jack and shit, and Jack left town. Yeah.
Chi says Briscoe County Jr.
I've heard. I have not watched it, but it's one I know I've heard a lot of. Actually, one of his roles I really like was in Jack of All Trades?
Okay.
Where he's basically playing a Revolutionary era Zorro.
I have not seen Jack of All Trades. I don't know what that is. I have to look that one up.
I will send you the intro to check out. It's great because he's trying to fight Napoleon.
I'm down. Bruce Campbell, and I'm going to be down to watch it. So you're going to find it for me on something like Tubi or something where it's free. We'll make it even worse because then I can watch it like right away. Won't even be like I got to find it. Like Tubi is like, who said Tubi is like crack? It wasn't Ironcaster who said it. Definitely people in chat. Yeah, Tubi is like, I literally am like ready to like start doing like a weekly video of like 10 things you can watch right now for free on Tubi. I need Tubi to call and sponsor us or something. That's what I need to do. Are y'all? Let's see. Are y'all? What are we doing here? Sorry, I have a little bit of a delay, so my freaking probably have too many things running. Are y'all going to see the next Evil Dead film? It's called Evil Dead Rise. This is supposedly going to come out soon. I have not actually even watched the show. Isn't it on Netflix? Right? Ash versus Evil Dead. Isn't that the show that was a few years ago?
And it does not have anything to do with Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of it. I just haven't done it. And that's why I was just like, I mean, I'm not averse to watching it, just didn't get to it. Knew it wasn't essential for me to see it. So, yeah. So Soul Assassin in a theater, probably not. But whenever I can get access to see it, probably yes.
Now, Campbell's come out and said he's not going to ever play Ash again. He's not going to in a film. So, if it doesn't have Ash in it, is it a continuation of that crappy reboot film with the girl? Because if it is, I really don't want to follow up on that world. Not that'd be me anyway. I didn't like the one with the chick. I know people were like, "Oh my God, ask Bruce Campbell at the very end of it," but if he's not in it, I don't want to see it.
So what I have to watch an hour and a half of a mediocre movie just to be able to get a glimpse of Ash.
Well, that was the remake that they already did. So I don't know if the new movie's going to be...
But, I mean, that's sort of the ultimate implication is that, people are trying to sell you on watch it because he shows up at the end for a cameo. Just like...
Spider-Man did it.
Yeah,
Spider-Man just did it, right? It was Far From Home. It was like, there's a cameo, there's a after credit scene. It's really just Bruce Campbell.
Well, that's all it was him saying groovy, and you seen an outline of his head, and that's it. And you're like, no.
Yeah. Abomination AJ chopping in here. Man, listen, folks, if you have not subscribed to Abomination AJ, you are missing out, man. Great content creator, up and coming content creator, just great show. Fun. His show just flies by. A lot of fun. And totally into games and stuff. Animation. Yeah. So maybe skip Xena. Hang on. Zach says, and jump to or on Lucy Lawless and Spartacus. Careful with the jump on Lucy Lawless. You might file a restraining order against you, Zach, but I understand what you're trying to get at there.
Well, the chick that she does jump sideways with in the Spartacus, I've always referred to as Tits. She was in not Hannibal, but Dexter. She was in Dexter. She dated Dexter for a season. He ended up knifing her, but Dexter's sister, Morgan, calls her Tits. So yeah, and boy does she have a nice set of tits.
Bifer was the one who also said Tubi is like crack. So yeah, Bifer, we agree. Chris is the one that's promoting the Briscoe County Junior show. And Zach says that Jack of All Trades was pretty good. Didn't last long enough. So it was a show, not a film?
Yeah, it lasted for like 2 seasons.
Oh, okay.
Where he's acting as like a secret agent type character for America under Thomas Jefferson as the president, teaming up with this British chick.
Okay.
On this little island to try and stop Napoleon's reign of trying to conquer the world.
It sounds like something that will be on like Paramount or Peacock or whatever owns this crap. So I'll probably be able to find it without any problem. So Chris Berger throwing out AJ's link, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody else, but I didn't call out. I just know AJ is actually pretty new to the Fellowship and really starting to get his wheels now, really starting to get a rhythm and things like that. So, and by the way, I just want to say here too, I put it on Twitter. If you guys are not on Twitter, Troy Pacelli really got the shaft by YouTube. He was invited on Ryan Roger Athay's show. He did the long form interview, like 2 hours or so. When they're starting their show, they're talking about where he's at on subscribers, and he was like at 489. And then he says, maybe I can get to 500, by the end of the year. And Ryan's like, oh no, you'll be there by the end of the month. Well, they got to 500 during the show, and they ended the show at 508. Okay. I listened to this yesterday. I complimented them. I said all this different stuff. And then I watched that on Sunday. They both messaged me yesterday, blah, blah, blah. YouTube took 20 subs away from him since then. So
okay.
It's like, listen, I understand this game that they play about you can sub, but maybe you didn't have time to go check out their content or whatever. This back and forth. I don't know. This is a in real time, you can see the conversation that they're having, the chat, the people coming up in the chat, and they're all engaging. It's a very frustrating example to live out. That's all. So I wanted to bring attention to it.
One of the things that will happen over the next couple of days, he will slowly get those back. Mm-hmm. One of the things YouTube has been doing is putting the brakes on major gains, and then you'll see them come back over the next couple of days or the next week. So what they're doing is they're like channeling his views to a point. His views, his subscribers, they're throttling it so that he doesn't get everything at once. The same thing's been happening to me. The same thing's been happening to other creators, where you'll see like a huge spike, and then you'll lose 10-20% of that spike, and then slowly over the next couple of days you'll get them back.
All right.
It's really screwy what YouTube is doing, and the fact that they're manipulating shit they shouldn't be, that's absolutely correct. It's a pain in the ass, but that's the way they're doing it.
It's really, really disheartening. So, Princess Leia Rose, come up in here. Hey there, lady. Thanks for hopping in. DJ Ronnie G says the Jack of All Trades DVD box set is really cheap. That's an option as well. Physical media, of course.
I stopped into a little used media shop and I found it both seasons for $10.
All right. So what is that? Soul says, is that a Pizza Planet shirt? Pops nice. Yes, I actually had a Pizza Planet shirt before it was trendy to have one. That's the kind of references I like, and I hate the fact that they're ruining the company. But I still have the shirt. It just goes through the rotation. I can love what I love about it. It's kind of like the way I tell people. I said, listen, there's this many Star Wars movies. It's like Disney to me died at a certain point, but the stuff that's before that, I'm not, sorry. Doesn't mean I have to give them money now, but I still have stuff. But I will say I have some disdain. It's been a little difficult, but yeah, this was pizza. Good eye. Have Soul's house. Good job. Let's see here. Help out Troy. Make sure you still get. Yeah. So just in case you're not, listen. Give him. He has a Friday show. He's really into connecting with other YouTubers in the fellowship. A real honest guy, real stand-up guy. I've interviewed him, had him on my streams. We've had some great times together. I think it was on Loki show one time.
He's been on a couple of times.
Awesome. Yeah. So Ironcaster, he was on with us for the San Diego Comic-Con for like 3 hours. We were talking about some crazy stuff on with my impromptu. Hey, anybody want to go on this thing with me at San Diego Comic-Con? Next thing you know, we had like 11, 12. We have people going in and out on us. Yeah, Troy was freaking great. So, all right. So there's a vetting process. 500 and 1,000 major losses in real time. Yeah, it's just really strange. It is very frustrating. I had it happen around the 1,500 thing because I didn't want to say I had 1,500 until I got to like 1,510, 1,511 because I saw what Loki saw too. Like you get close to it and then suddenly I lost a whole bunch and then they just kind of come back. But I just expect that to happen. I don't really even worry about it because I don't check it every single day anyway. But just like I said, the stuff that happens on that actual interview with Ryan, it's just a really wild ride. It really is. So let's see where we at. Oh, we still got like 5 minutes. Good. So Army of Darkness. Any other thoughts, Ironcaster? This is literally like I said, top tier for you. So talk a little bit about more of your affinity for it. And
Army of Darkness is one of these movies I would always kind of manage to just basically catch the tail end of, where I basically got to watch that last like third act, which as far as a movie like this goes, it is an impressive chunk of this movie is just that battle of
it's like a half hour.
Just being sieged by armies of skeletons and people dressed up as them as their just kind of padding. I don't want to say padding the time, but it is just an impressive amount of time they managed to dedicate solely to that for this movie. And if, like Loki was mentioning, if you do happen to check out one of the alternate versions, the director's cut or the international cut, I believe, you get to see a lot more of that fight. Like there is so much more of Bruce Campbell, for example, riding around on his modified car. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, this is everything I want to see in a sword and sorcery movie. Really, just I want to see a bunch of like stop motion skeletons and guys fighting, and you can kind of tell like what was a pre-recorded bit added in, but it's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of so many freaking catchphrases.
Oh yeah, like I don't even know what we can legally get away with, like having a shirt with quotes. I mean, you see these people on Etsy and stuff doing it. There has to be a way to legally kind of be able to put together some sort of shirt or some sort of creative way of doing it with a silhouette of a chainsaw maybe and having some things put in or something like that maybe. I don't know. I'm going to have to I kind of wrote it down today. It's one of those things where I really need to figure out how to get into like the merch side of doing this kind of stuff because I never seem to follow through on all these actions and I need to do that.
We need to like come up with we need to see about getting like an art piece like worked up for like merch or something where it's like all like some of the best bits of all the stuff we've been going through. Like I feel like I need to insist on like some sort of moon shark fighting Bruce Campbell or something.
Oh my gosh, fan art of like Bruce Campbell in Shark Side of the Moon 2. That would actually make Shark Side of the Moon 2 worth watching if it involved Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
See, Loki's even with me. Like, if you put Bruce Campbell, I'm good. But listen, I'm the nut
you-
that's going to agree to see the schlock like the corn. So that's
You could borrow that character of his that goes to the moon with Chekhov in that like robot transformer movie where it like murders people. I can't remember what the hell that dead moon or whatever it is.
Oh, Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. Transformers, Dark Side of the Moon, or some nonsense like that, or whatever.
It was a weird movie where these transformer things killed a whole bunch of people. But yeah, if you like that old movie, yeah, man, put Bruce Campbell. He's on the moon. Shit, he's in the spacesuit. He's in the little shuttle to the moon. So shit, yeah, put him in there.
And then I think like we just basically like add in the lightsaber chainsaw from Sharknado 3.
The sharks.
There you go.
The man's obsessed with sharks. I'm telling you, he's got shark issues.
Look, these movies find me. I don't go out looking googling like the worst movies of all time. It's not my fault they all just happen to be shark movies.
I really do believe you in some ways. In other ways, I don't believe you like at all. Just so you know.
Look, I see something's trending. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, it's a shark.
It just happens
movie.
to be sharks in the sand and sharks and whatever. We tag Pops in this. Yeah, okay. Then all these people turn on me and they're like, "Yeah, Pops, you like schlock? You can watch it." Princess Leia Rose says about how much she likes good content. Well, Leia Rose, hopefully you're enjoying yourself. And by the way, I reached out to Princess Leia Rose to come on a stream with me sometimes. So got to figure out her schedule so she can work out with me. That'd be fun. We would hang out. So lots of love for Troy. Chainsaw sticker. Yeah, blood and guts. Leia Rose says chainsaw sticker could be an option. Yeah, Steven Ransom throw that out there. How about a chainsaw hand with the tag? Talk hard, baby. Ooh. Now he's getting on brand. See, Chris Persia. Yeah, he's something. Yeah, he's got to go on. The Chris Persia. That's there. You go. There's our Ironcaster shirt. The movie whisperer. The bad movie whisperer.
If they film it, I will find.
If they film it, you will find it. Yes. So anyway, yeah. Look, Prince Leia, listen. You have to just message me. Give me an idea what your thoughts are. I can do Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesdays would be late after this, and then Wednesdays it can't be on a Pops Talk week because I have Pops Talk every other week, so I can't do double. But yeah, we'll figure it out. We can figure it out. I schedule out way in advance, so we'll figure something out. So yeah, we're all caught up. I'm going to do I have to figure out a time frame to do celebrate 1,500 subs. Say thank you to all of you wonderful people out there, folks like these gentlemen right here, spending time with me, making this. This is my life. This is me just getting to be this way. I did a spontaneous stream on Wednesday last week because Loki, you didn't do your comic book show.
Nope.
So I won't be stepping on my brother. So I just came on and just shot the BS for we ended up talking for almost 2 hours or maybe longer. Dude, I was in such a good mood. I was so happy. I felt like I've been to the gym. I felt like I had my own cheesecake. I felt everything that I love about life just culminated because I was just talking nerd stuff with folks that love nerd stuff too, man. Oh, freaking great. So couple sneak peeks, got some giveaways that are coming. I actually we'll be giving away, yes, gum included, original Indiana Jones wax pack. Got a couple of those. Original Return of the Jedi wax packs, gum included. And
the
then
gum is the best part of these.
What's that?
So
the gum
is yeah.
Yes. And then I have a set of three. A set of three. There's a set of three. There are way more than three that you can get. This is. So you get it in order. This is the regular version, the Virgin cover, and a sketch version of Action 1000. So we'll give that away too. So a couple of giveaways. I probably have more stuff. Maybe I'll give away one of the Tron wax pack from up there. If you win a wax pack, if you want to open it on air, we'll share it all together, and I'll mail it to you that way. Or if you want it sealed, I'll send it to you that way. Either way. So, what were you gonna say, buddy? I'm sorry.
I feel like Jacob Ironside is trolling me now because I don't believe that's a movie.
Santa Jaws. Santa Jaws is. I actually am 90% sure Santa Jaws is a movie. Actually, no. Why do I know that? Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely a movie. Yep.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah, definitely a movie. Yeah, I recognize the name. Dean Krantz is here. Hey, man. Hey, a movie I actually like. Yeah. Well, we try to do it. Movies that we like. We try to discuss things that we enjoy and maybe you'll enjoy or whatever. So, YouTube did not. Hold on. It's like so slow. Did not notify me this was happening. I'm sorry, bro. I will tell you. YouTube's not going to be consistent with notification. Here's what I can tell you. Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 Central. We're going to be talking hard. So with very rare exceptions. And I think we're pretty well good all the way through to November, the week of Thanksgiving. That'll be the first time we have a week off. Because I do not do anything the week of Thanksgiving. So between now and then, every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So next week we'll be doing Sleepy Hollow. Then the week, that'll be the week of Thanksgiving. I mean, a week of Halloween after that. So that'll be The Crow. And the week after that, will be Fifth Element. So those will be our next 3 movies we all like. And then we'll see what we decide next. And by the way, you do not want to miss the Crow one because that guy has something to show off that is freaking beautiful. Oh, man. There is a thing like nerd boner, right? Like it's an okay thing to say. Or is it just weird to say that because everybody kind of reads too much into it? But it's like your nerd senses go like, oh, I don't know is that the right way to say it? Is there a different way to say it so it doesn't sound so creepy? All right. Last week we talked about movie cars. Yes, Bifer was here for that. Yeah, that was my spontaneous stream, Bifer. Yeah, we ended up talking about movie cars. We ended up talking about Star Wars. We talked about all sorts of crazy stuff. Soul Assassin says, good to talk about things we like instead of what's angering us about modern entertainment. Well, listen, by the way, that's what brought us together was we were definitely, Loki in particular, really having a hard time with Halo. Halo was about broke the man. We were therapeutically leading Loki through it. That's how I looked at it. Yeah, Old Gamer was here at the Car Love. There's still lots of comments on that video. I posted that clip. People love to chime in about what movie car's their favorite or which one they could have, whatever. So, Zone Troopers, had that come up in conversation, Dean? I think you're cheating on me. Like you said, you make it sound like you brought that up and I've ignored it. I don't remember that one coming up as an option. So, and that's not my notepad to write on. So I got to find something to write down Zone Troopers on. I haven't even remember even looking at Zone Troopers to figure out if that's an option or not. See it. Oh my! I don't know how to say the name. I'm sorry on this one. I apologize. I messed up your name. Akimimara. Okay, cool. I don't know if you've been in Talk Hard before. Thanks. Welcome. If a movie exists, that they will put a shark in it. Yeah. Then Ironcaster will find it, and then we'll know. Yes, Avalanche Sharks was on his list of things that came up in conversations. Yes. But I did a poll, and the poll said I had to do corn first. So what's it called? Is it sharks in the corn or from the corn? It's in the corn, right?
Sharks of the corn.
Sharks of the corn. So that'll be the first one. Relatively soon. Probably it'll definitely be definitely in a week or two. I'll get to it. I promise. It's just that some of these other shows I'm doing, and they take a lot of time. And I actually did a couple of. I rewatched Hellraiser, and Hellraiser 2. You guys have any thoughts on Hellraiser 2? What are your thoughts on Hellraiser 2? You got any affinity for either one of those?
Oh, the original is great. I still love the original. And a shout out to Kimimaro. Can't wait to see you in Arlington next week.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hellraiser is a really interesting concept because it's not just your standard slasher horror thing because it's a lot more of a deeper psychological thing. Where one of the big themes with it is sort of this blending and blurring of lines. I mean, they say in the movie, we are neither angels nor demons. It's this combining the pleasure and the pain. You go back to the original concept where they're sort of even blurring the lines for were they even male or female to begin with.
Yeah, you're really spot on with everything you said. This was like a Nexus film for me. And as a spiritual person, it's a little weird to talk about how obsessed I was with Clive Barker because I kind of went down the rabbit's hole with that film about read his books and the comic book that came out of it. And I rewatched it. I did a review, and I can tell you, I was shocked at how little the Cenobites are in it until the last 20 minutes or so. It's this big, rich character drama. It's more about, Julia bringing people to kill for Frank to consume and suck them to bring him back to life and all of that before you get to the Cenobites. And by the way, the quote is angels to some, demons to others. It's the best. Freaking Doug Bradley is a boss. Then they rushed the sequel. I don't know if you guys knew this. The original came in 87. The sequel comes out in 88. Rush job. They made money. They didn't think they were going to make money. And actually, people criticized the effects of Hellraiser. Go tell them to pound sand. They had no money, nothing left. That Clive Barker and his special, he literally called him the tech guy. I have no idea what his skill set means. And they basically got drunk over the course of a weekend on a computer where they did all of those little lightning effects by hand. That was how the effects were done for Hellraiser. No money left. Got a dude, quote, tech guy, got drunk in a hotel or wherever they were. Yeah, that's Hellraiser. They got money, and they rushed Hellraiser 2 through. And you can tell because there's so many flashbacks to the first film, and they're trying to literally lead you on to this mythology, and then they just ruin it. They just ruined the second film. It was terrible at the time. I was so mad. And it was like, I don't know. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen it. They kill Pinhead. It was dumb. It was just dumb. And I know there are other movies, whatever. But it was at the time, I was just, no. And the point of Pinhead was like what you were saying, Ironcaster. He's not a slasher. It wasn't Jason. It wasn't Freddy. It was something different. It was it really is sort of like a metaphysical or spiritual. I don't know what the best way to describe sort of this afterlife discussion basically is what this is the premise of this. It's almost like mocking Christianity in a lot of ways, where it's this sort of afterlife conversation. So. Which,
even it doesn't go as far as some of the later worse sequels where they go so far as to mock it in a church, and it's
well, the new one's like that, and that's why I watched them, right? Because I wanted to review the new one. And there's actually a line where it pretty much is saying well, heaven sounds pretty boring. Wouldn't you rather hear screams? It was just, I don't know. The problem with the new one, my opinion is, I could care less if any of these people died.
A little on the nose.
Loki, we talk about it all the time, right? Modern cinema, they don't have any likable characters.
No,
you
just
don't.
absolutely not.
Your main character, your protagonist is a drug addict little girl who's a whiny little beach, and don't care if she dies.
Insufferable twats.
I didn't care that much. And then it's like the gay brother and roommate, and the roommate's there, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if he bleeds out or not. I really don't care. You don't care. And then it's not really Pinhead. It's this sort of girl Pinhead, but they changed the voice because it's a trans actor. So I don't know what's real, what's not real. It's not my Pinhead. That's all I can say. I don't really care.
How many people watched Halloween Kills and was rooting for Michael Myers to kill everyone in that hospital? I hope he shows up, and I hope he kills everyone in that hospital and just wipes out half the fucking town.
At the end,
that's where we're at.
Scene? Oh, yeah. You're cheering for them all. Anthony Michael Hall, you're going to get it, buddy. You're going to get it. Yeah, I love it.
That's just where we're at.
Yeah, yeah.
What a great time to bring Freddy back, to bring Jason back, to bring Pinhead back, to bring Michael Myers back. Yep. Because you're going to be rooting for these guys, and you're going to want them take out the blue-haired Landwells, take out all these fucking people that are annoying as shit that you absolutely do not like, and you do not give two shits for. Back in the day, it was, run, Pearl Girl, run, don't look back, you keep running, don't let Jay. Now it's kill the bitch, get her. You do not care for these because they're insufferable.
Yeah, and in the first film of Hellraiser, right, you're dealing with Kirsty, and Kirsty cares about her freaking dad. It's she's running in the house to try to save her dad. It's my dad. It's my dad. And then when you get to the second movie, and she's just trying to survive with the little girl, it's you care and you don't want them to die, but you really could care less about any other aspect of the film. It just didn't matter. They have all these expendable characters that come and go. So, yeah, movie's done right, movie's done wrong. And by the way, Zax, if you love Crow that much, you should be here then, my friend, because Crow is, if you don't consider Crow one of the top, I'll give you 10. If you don't have Crow in your top 10 of comic book movie adaptations, we really need to have a sit down and an intervention because something's wrong with you. I'm really just concerned about how you evaluate movies. And I guess this was my comment from her for Soul Assassin is recommending Nerdgasms, which actually sounds worse to me. Sorry. That sounds worse than Boner.
Would you guys say The Crow is one of the top 10 best 90s films?
90s has a lot of good films, and I would have to decide if you want to talk about overall films or just genre films. I mean, it's tricky. The 90s are so flipping great. Again, even if we don't have a single year where you have like 6, but every year you have so many. Yeah, there's just a lot.
Someone stuck his knives and all his major organs in alphabetical order. Well, I'll take here's a shot for poor old Tintin.
T-Bird. Oh yeah.
T-Bird and his little party pals.
Neat. Okay, see, look, you give chat long enough, they come up with a solution for old pops. Nerd Rush. Got a little Nerd Rush. Oh yeah. Yeah. Nerd Rush was good. I can go Nerd Rush. Geek George sounds a little odd as well, but that's okay. Okay, that's what we're gonna go with there. Let's see. I don't think Bifer has a channel. Zach's asked if Bifer had a channel, but he says great commentary, by the way. Let's see. Did you hear me rapping at your door? Yeah. Let's see. Jaws and Furious Vin Diesel voices Jaws. Okay. More shark references for our man here.
Yeah, they take out the first shark and Ben shows up and he's like, "You don't mess with family." Yeah.
Okay, what do we say? One of the 80s movies that got made because there was a script. WW2 Soldiers, Aliens, comic book references, was Glorious Bad.
Oh, he's talking about the other one he recommended.
Oh, the one I hadn't heard of. No,
Yeah.
the Zone Trooper one, right? Is that what he said? Zone Troopers? Okay. Thanks, Dean. Listen, I'm fine. I'm fine with trying just about anything. These guys know I'll watch crap. So I'm watching Sharks in the Sand or Sharks in the Corn. Sorry, Sharks in the Corn. First Hellraiser, great. Psychological trip there. Yeah. Because you just get sucked right into it. They are all about the sharks, Loki. They're turning on us. See, this is what happens with chat. They can't let the populace have votes. This is what they do. Virus shark and sharktopus. Sharktopus. Okay. Holy crap, Sharktopus.
Okay,
I can't.
Chat. I want to throw out a movie suggestion for you guys. Let me see what the chat thinks.
Oh, here we go.
Attack of the Killer Donuts.
How could that even be a thing? They had to roll tomatoes. You can't really roll donuts.
Think about it. They could have little sprinkle teeth.
Oh man.
Come on. You could have them in it. You could have them in a cop shop attacking cops.
That's awesome. All right. So this is a Valhalla visitor. He's coming soon, so that's going to be great. You guys have some fun. Take lots of photos. Send them to me privately if you need to. Whatever you got to do. Mr. H did vids reading the Hellraiser books. Whew. Hellraiser books, and Clive Barker is a messed up dude, man. Let me tell you why. That's some messed up stuff. So, anyway, Zach's going to bed. It's 1 a.m. there, yeah, because they're +9 or they're +7 or something like that. So, depends on where he's at exactly in Europe. Got a little porn bot popping in there. We'll have to figure out how to deal with that.
Got something to share with you real quick.
Lock that. And
I went to watch a movie.
Yeah, Chris has got the porn bot taken care of. He says, "Yeah, you've made it if you've got porn bots."
And
so,
that
yeah, I know,
was on my account.
Sharknado: The Complete Saga. That was just on sale on Voodoo. She get it behind your back.
Guess what? Somebody bought it, and I was like, "What in the shit is this?"
I saw it pop up.
What in the shit is this?
It was $20, and we were talking or something, and I thought about messaging you, and I actually thought, I kid you not, I thought she's already got it. I'm sure she already owns it. I didn't even bother telling you because I thought, and then I thought, oh crap, I can't tell him because he'll be mad because once it gets out that she knows, then she got you, man. There's like 6 or 8 of them, aren't there?
There's 6 of them, yeah.
Oh, it's freaking ridiculous, man.
I've seen like number 1 and 3. I haven't.
The sharks going down the street, I think, is the one they did the riff tracks on, and that's the last one I've seen. I don't know which one that was. Like 3, I think it's right. I think it's like 3, and it was like, okay, they riff tracked it. No, that's yeah.
Well, I mean, the sharks go to space in part 3. I don't know how you can top that.
Here's an idea: blue-haired land whales versus Freddy. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? if you did it where the actual land whales were having like a sorority party or a sleepover and they were discussing their nightmares and you had Freddy show up and Freddy was like a total Chad about his dialogue.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest. Kill some land whales might have some good time. Gotta be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be like a sleepover movie, but it's all the slasher villains coming together and like, oh, let me tell you about this time I caught some teenagers.
I wish I really can't understand these brands that have all this ownership of this IP and they can't make decent product. Like the brains, we can literally brainstorm stuff that would be way more interesting than this crap that they keep churning out.
Well, the rights are all screwed up. Like the rights for Jason, they're all over the place.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, Jason is. But some of this stuff Universal owns. Some of the stuff that they, Paramount and stuff owns. So Crow's fantastic. I actually have a tattoo from the movie. Yeah, that's freaking Crow is top tier. So okay, Leia Rose is gonna ask. I like to talk about spiritual aspect of Star Wars with me. That sounds good, Leia Rose. Leia Rose, I actually had lined up, and the guy canceled, and then I didn't really chase it down. I actually almost interviewed a guy who ran the Jedi Church, like the legit spiritual church based on Jediism or something. And we could talk spirituality. There's a lot of spirituality, especially Eastern spirituality. So, Soul Assassin might lose some geek cred, but I don't know Crow was a comic book film until a few months ago. No, it's fine. Trust me, I'm in the middle of doing prep work and trying to find someone who wants to do almost like a double, because I don't know that I want to go dive into both movies like we do here on Talk Hard, but I want to do like a graphic novel stream or something where I talk about From Hell by Alan Moore and then talk about Road to Perdition, which is also a graphic novel. Actually, there's part 1, part 2. Those are both two that people don't know were based on comic book material. Those are two of the obscure ones that are like that. Let's see. Chris Persia is warning us off of Sharktopus. How did he get roped into that, Loki? She did Sharktopus?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea what Eris does on Saturdays. If he got roped into that, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I dodge and deflect anytime I get asked to watch shit like that. So I'm like, nope. Oh, and that's why when we went to watch Sharks on the Moon, I was like, oh my freaking god, I'm gonna have to watch this. And I actually sat Eris. Well, if I've got to watch this, you've got to watch this shit with me.
All right,
I'm gonna go see Dark. I had to go see Moonfall, and Moonfall was shit.
Oh yeah, you guys talk about Moonfall so much that so this is what my wife did to me. You guys are going to be mad because you guys will love this. But this is a reaction I got because I said, honey, we're almost done with My Name is Earl because we're at the final end of season 4. We're almost done with My Name is Earl. We got to have something else to watch. Honey, I got the original series, the 1980 series. Can we watch V? And she goes, oh. Okay. She goes, okay. I'm like, I'm not watching it with her now. Because that was her response. She's no, it's okay. It's the 80s one. No. I don't want your pity viewership. No. She thought I meant like the new V, that one, which is, it's like, okay. Not the original 80 one. It's like so nostalgic. And if those of you that aren't old enough, man, that was like must-see TV before there was must-see TV. Like everyone at school was talking about that V miniseries. Like it was such a big deal. Dean Krantz, that's a home run call right there, man. The drawback to donuts is the cops win every time. Killer Donuts. Spoiler alert on that ending, right?
But
holy hell
on
donuts.
Challenge.
It's what?
It's about the challenge. How are the cops going to get the donuts? I mean, did the donuts start with the donut holes in them? If not, maybe the cops shoot them out. I'm just saying.
The reason that we can make these work is you just need nerds like us in the room because we go, okay, Killer Donuts, I'm going to move forward. Here's what you have to come back with me. You have to have a list of at least 4 male actors and 1 female actor that play cops in a mainstream film that everyone knows. They're going to play a cop in this too. For instance, the black guy in Die Hard. He has to be cast in this in Killer Donuts. You come back to me with that, then we'll have a script. That's how you make it work. Because then it becomes a comedy Is it a comedy? Isn't it? I know, but they're all cops. Well, they were the cops in this and cops in that. People will be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, it literally like makes it happen for itself.
If it's the guy from Die Hard, it's got to be called Death by Yellow Dye #5 because it's Twinkies. That's what he keeps talking about in that movie is the Twinkies. Yeah, Yellow Dye #5, everything a growing boy needs.
Yeah.
So you got to call it Death by Yellow Dye #5, and then have him in it, him shooting the Twinkies and whatever.
Him shooting Twinkies, yeah, something, yeah. The hero can morph into Homer Simpson and battle the Donut Queen.
Yeah. I actually have a single screenshot for you guys.
Oh boy, hang on. Let me get Chris Purge out of the way. 5 will get you 10. A certain goddess of chaos purchase that. Oh my gosh. All right, Caster's got Killer Donuts 2017. This is an actual movie?
Yes, this is a movie.
I thought you were joking. This is an actual thing.
Yes.
Holy crap. Look how cheap that looks, too. I will tell you about Thanksgiving, which you did. I passively agreed to kind of watch until I realized that what was happening on my phone. I was just embarrassed. Like, oh my gosh. It was only like an hour, and I can tell that they're like the uber low budget, like they made this themselves kind of thing. Like they didn't mean to end up on Tubi in some ways. That's how I felt. Like that's how my first impression was. Oh, well, they didn't know they were going to end up on Tubi. Jacob Iron says just eat donuts. Yeah, that's why the Killer Donuts isn't going to work. I'll just eat the donut. Not going to lie, never seen a single Sharknado movie. You're better for it, my friend. You're probably better for it. Your brain will thank you. Just don't even bother. Red Sharks of Mars. Steve Ransom says. Jason X was in space. That is another so bad it's a great flick. Yeah, you know what? That's going to be one of those that I will do at some point with someone like Ironcaster. It won't fit into this year, so that might be like a 2023 like a bad one that we mix in. All right, Pop's just. Oh, we got another DM. Is it? Do I need to share it, Jacob, or is it just like something you're just letting me know about? Hang on. I'll have to come back.
Let's find out.
Sharks with fezzes. Oh, soul assassin, man.
No.
Oh man, bro, you're just we can't throw gas on this fire. We're gonna get us all in trouble. Sharktopus. He sent me something with Sharktopus.
Doesn't the Sharktopus
oh my gosh,
fight
that's
another
crazy
monster?
Looking. This would be interesting if they didn't try to make it serious. My concern is if this was if this was Sam Raimi, we'd be all right because we realize he'd have the right kind of perspective on things. This is almost like they don't realize that they're like this is ridiculous. That's absurd. It has like spikes coming out of its gill slits. That's just crazy looking. Oh man, this is just weird. Why is it not loading? What's going on here? There it goes. It's just strange. Sharktopus. Is that actually from the movie?
Shark still looks fake.
Yeah, the shark does. Good line, man. That's freaking great. That's good reference. Gotcha. Dibsy hailed up in here. Hey, man. The movie Phantasm.
Caster.
I kind of want to throw it at some players in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm just saying.
Sharktopus?
Yes.
So whenever that happens and you do something like that and you say, all right, we're going to have a Sharktopus moment, how do I as a player know how to kill it?
Oh,
do we have any parameters of it? Do you give me any information to know to work from? How do I know? I've never played at the level where someone was going to throw Sharktopus into the game. Wizards and orcs and you're
going to be on a boat and then like tentacles just start coming up, wrapping up the boat. And then a big old shark mouth comes out of the water.
Okay.
And then it pulls itself out onto the ship.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I know. So old gamer is saying Phantasm was weird. Phantasm is definitely weird.
Huh.
Actually it kind of freaked me out. That little mouth ball thing kind of freaked me out when I saw it. And I don't know that I'm not really necessarily a big fan of that one. So oh, Leia Rose, what on earth are you talking about? My goodness. Was talking about a movie, a possessed tire. Wow.
Yes, this is a thing.
That is a thing?
Yes.
My goodness gracious me. Oh my gosh! What you guys are so funny though. This is Killer Donuts, Boston Cream with no plot holes. The original V series was the bomb. I thought you said a bomb. Okay, I almost had a panic attack. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it was like a huge issue. So, all right. So the moment of true nerdiness, Dean Krantz. When Watchmen movie came out, I was told graphic novels could be one of the best of 20th century. I read the 12-issue comic book series. Yeah, that's what you should do. Like if you haven't read it and you got that happen, and then there's no way a movie like that can do a comic book justice. Because in the comic book, there's actually like 3 stories kind of happening, and the movie kind of deals with just one. And if you get, I think it's even on the DVD, but I know it's on the Blu-ray. They have like an animated Watchmen movie as well, and that's one of the other subplots. So at least you get a little bit more to it. But yeah, it's freaking great. I know we're running along. I'm gonna try to get a couple more things. If there's anything else, there's also because Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That one's famous. Yes. Yeah, I remember seeing that very early on in my schlock. I think
there's like
phase.
4 of those.
Yeah, there's a couple. As a DM, I can say Sharktopus would be a fantastic mob.
Yes.
Okay. Dempsey says make a knowledge roll. Okay, here's my tip. Okay, thank you, Dempsey. Get myself cognizant. And Dempsey says that Phantasm 2 was better than 1. I wasn't going back after the creepy ball. It's one of the few horror movies I can tell you I really have not done that. So, question. So, was there a Phantasm 3 level 21 sushi night can kill a sharktopus? I don't even know. I've lost control of my show because I have no idea what these references are about. You guys are rounding around. But I gotta let these guys get back to their stuff too. They have things they got to do. Loki's got a morning show to plan for. I'm gonna be Thursday, bro. We have Thursday to look forward to.
You're gonna be on Thursday, so we got Pops
Thursday
coming on Thursday. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about female scammers and how they are taking advantage of white knight simps that love to come to the rescue but don't get anything for it after that. So women taking advantage of young men and their wallets so they can feel pretty, oh so pretty. Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And then Thursday we'll have Pops on and we'll come up with something interesting to talk about on Thursday.
We don't plan our Thursday. We sit there and go, we're going to talk about, I'll talk about this and I'll talk about that. And next thing you know, we're just talking about 3 other things that have nothing to do with it. By the way, is that true? George Clooney was in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes 2. I don't think I ever saw it, but holy cow, that's great if that is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
he was.
That's freaking awesome.
Movies.
Here's your link in the chat, folks.
Thank
make sure you
Chris.
Check that out and make sure you're connected there. I have Pops Talk tomorrow night. We have Magtech Mags back with me, of course. And with us will be a common idiot. Matt is one of my favorites. We've become very close friends, and we are having a great time. He also suffers some of the Disney product. We'll talk about that. Mags, of course, has to give me the update on Rings of Power, trying to convince me why I should try to suffer like everyone else, which I refuse to do. But I will promise to give an update on my thoughts on Cobra Kai because I have finished season 1. I know there's 5 or 4 or whatever there is. I'm on 1, so bear with it, old man. Okay, I'm catching up. Got things to do. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. By the way, I knew Killer Clowns in Outer Space at there's also a Christmas one. I knew this for trivia and won a contest one time for that.
There's also now a video game coming out based on it.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Ironcaster, what's going on with you, man? Anything going
on? I need to go live in my own channel some more often. Play some random robot games or something. Thinking I might be on with Guard Beardia tomorrow over on his Twitch channel.
Cool.
And then Friday we'll be doing the comic shop stream over on Nick Weiser's.
Awesome. Is comics on tomorrow night for you, Loki, as well?
Yep, should be.
Comic Roundtable. Thursday will be with Adega. Late night Fridays. Oh, by the way, yeah, Chris Persia, I was being facetious. Mags has done nothing but tell me how bad it is. She's not trying to actually win a debate. It's just a little joke we have about it because it's so ridiculously bad. Is what I hear. Everyone has said that. So, but yeah, listen, guys, really enjoyed this. This is a lot of fun. This is a really fun movie to revisit. To be honest, it took me down the road of watching Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 again as well, which I enjoyed that process. And I probably will do a video. I'm at the point now where it's pretty rare that I want to watch something and not at least make some sort of content out of it. Because even if I rambled for 5 to 7 minutes as a video, I can almost just do that with an intro. I'm such a freaking diarrhea of the mouth problem. So, Earth Girls and Easy Head Goldblum, yes, indeed, and Gina Davis and Jim Carrey. So, well, folks, listen, you guys in chat, we could keep going, so we have to cut it off somewhere. Let's do Ironcaster gets credit for the little outtake. We'll do that and have some fun. Be blessed. Make tomorrow better than today. And remember, you got to talk hard. And that's from Pops.
Take care, everybody.
That.